Jeremy, thank you for taking part in the 60-second interview series. Please explain who you are and what you do.
Hi, my name is Jeremy Edwards. I am one of the founders of the insights and intelligence company Activative, where I am head of content.
Fantastic. Please explain your career path to date.
I began my first degree was actually in philosophy, but I think the potential earnings curve for philosophers put me off pursuing a career in that. My first career was in journalism, and I was a Washington DC political correspondent. But after a few years working in the backstabbing world of politics in Washington, I switched to marketing. My first job in marketing was as a consultant on content side at a company called Human Capital, and then I moved into consulting on advertising and then into consulting in the sponsorship world.
What advice would you have for people looking to get into the sponsorship world?
It's a good question, Will, and one that is often asked of me, largely because so many people are passionate about the platforms and events that sponsorship is based around. But the one piece of advice I would always give is that passion is not enough. You need to think about what your skill sets are and focus on selling your skill sets that are appropriate to particular areas of sponsorship, because passion alone is certainly not enough to build a successful career in this space.
Thank you. Obviously, we've just recently had the Olympics in London. What are the sponsorship trends emerging from the London 2012 Games?
Well, I think on the downside we saw an awful lot of traditional above-the-line activation dominated by the faces of Jessica Ennis and Usain Bolt. And I think there was way too much of that ubiquitous style of activation. But some of the more interesting trends that I think came out were in the field of live, real-time and low latency activation. And by that I mean the ability for sponsors to react in very quick time or live to the actual events that are going on in the games. Good sponsorship is always about engaging in a relevant environment, in a relevant way, and capturing people's moods. And the closer you can get to real-time activation, the more effective that message is going to be. So I think we saw some absolutely fascinating trends emerging out of leveraging real-time platforms like social media and Twitter that led to live or almost live activation, such as the work EDF did with the London Eye, and also this quick turnaround of Olympic event content into advertising, such as was done by AT&T, which is a Team USA sponsor, and Visa. I think this real-time trend is possibly the most interesting that has evolved out of London 2012.
And the future of sponsorship, looking good or challenging?
I think both is the answer to that question. I think looking good because as the wider advertising and marketing world finds it ever tougher to build success on the old-fashioned model of linear, one-directional, brand-dominated messages, more and more marketers are going to be looking for genuine platforms that really engage their target market, and that plays into sponsorship's hand. However, the traditional model of sponsorship, which in the past has been based around numbers and eyeballs and logos, is also something of the past. And more sponsors need to understand that good sponsorship simply boils down to enhancing consumers' experience, enjoyment of the event and the platform around which you are sponsoring.
Jeremy, thank you very much for your time and all the very best.
Pleasure.